The Romano mansion was intimidating even from the outside. 3 stories of pristine white stone in the heart of Manhattan's Upper East Side, with security that would make the White House jealous. I'd almost turned around twice before actually ringing the bell. "You must be Miss Miller." A woman in her 50s opened the door, warm smile contrasting with the fortress-like exterior. "I'm Maria, the housekeeper. Isabella's been asking about you all morning." "It's nice to meet you." I clutched my bag of piano books tighter. "I hope I'm not too early." "Right on time. Mr. Romano appreciates punctuality." She led me through a marble foyer that echoed with our footsteps. "The music room is this way." I'd taught piano for 5 years, in homes ranging from cramped apartments to suburban houses. But this was something else entirely. The music room was larger than my entire apartment, with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking a private garden. And in the center, bathed in winter sunlight, sat a Steinway grand piano that probably cost more than I'd make in a decade. "It's beautiful," I breathed, unable to help myself. "Papa says it's the best piano in New York," a small voice announced. I turned to find a little girl in the doorway, 7 years old according to the file I'd received, with long dark hair and curious eyes. "Are you my new piano teacher?" "I am." "You must be Isabella." "Bella. Only my papa calls me Isabella when I'm in trouble." She skipped over, completely at ease. "Can you play something? I want to hear if you're good." "Bella. Manners," Maria chided gently. "It's okay." I set down my bag and moved to the piano, settling onto the bench. "What would you like to hear?" "Something happy." The last teacher only played sad music. I launched into a playful rendition of a Mozart sonata, adding little flourishes that made Bella giggle. Halfway through, I felt it, the prickle of being watched. I glanced at the doorway and nearly stumbled over the keys. A man stood there, tall, imposing, wearing a suit that screamed expensive even from across the room. Dark hair swept back from a face that was all sharp angles, and darker eyes that tracked my every movement with unnerving intensity. Alessandro Romano. Had to be. I finished the piece, my hands suddenly shaky. "Papa!" Bella ran to him, and his entire demeanor transformed. The hard edges softened as he crouched down to her level. "What do you think, Piccola? Do you like your new teacher? She plays happy music. Can we start now?" "That's up to Miss Miller." Those dark eyes fixed on me again. "Thank you for coming. I trust Maria showed you everything you need?" "Yes, Mr. Romano, everything's perfect. Please call me Alessandro. We'll be seeing quite a bit of each other." He straightened, and I had to tilt my head back to maintain eye contact. I sit in on Bella's lessons, to ensure she's progressing appropriately. That was unusual. Most parents dropped their kids off and disappeared. "Of course. That's fine. Excellent." He moved to an armchair positioned with a clear view of the piano, settled in like a king on a throne, and gestured for us to begin. "Please don't let me interrupt." "Right. Don't let the intimidating man in the expensive suit interrupt the piano lesson." Easy. Bella, at least, was a dream student. Eager, focused, with natural talent that made teaching a joy. She picked up the basics quickly, her small fingers finding the keys with increasing confidence. But I was hyper-aware of Alessandro's presence the entire hour. He didn't speak, didn't move, just watched. Not Bella, me. Every time I demonstrated a technique, leaning over to guide Bella's hands, showing her the proper posture, I felt his gaze like a physical touch, heavy, constant, assessing. "That's wonderful, Bella." I praised as she completed her first simple scale. "You're a natural, really?" Her face lit up, "Really. Practice these exercises this week, and next lesson we'll start on an actual song." "Can I pick the song?" "Within reason," I smiled. "Nothing too complicated yet." "Miss Miller is right, Piccola." Alessandro's voice, deep and accented, made me jump slightly. "You must master the fundamentals first. The beautiful music comes with patience." "Papa always says that." Bella sighed dramatically. "Patience, patience, patience, because it's true. In music, in life, in everything worth having." His eyes were still on me. "Wouldn't you agree, Miss Miller?" Yes, absolutely. Patience is essential." "Good. Then we understand each other." There. was something in his tone that made me think he wasn't just talking about piano lessons. After Bella ran off to find Maria, Alessandro walked me to the door himself. "She likes you," he observed. "Bella is particular about people. The last 3 teachers didn't last a month. She's a wonderful student. Talented and enthusiastic, that's every teacher's dream. And yet you seem nervous." He tilted his head slightly. "Do I make you uncomfortable, Miss Miller?" "Yes, absolutely yes. It's just unusual to have a parent sit in," I said carefully. "Most prefer to give their children space during lessons." "I'm not most parents. And Bella isn't most children." His expression was unreadable. "Her mother died when she was 3. I'm all she has, so yes, I'm protective. Perhaps overly so, but I need to know who's in her life. I understand, and I'm happy to have you there." "Good, because I have no intention of leaving." He opened the door for me. "Same time next week?" "Yes, and I'll prepare some fun pieces for her to start on." "I look forward to it." The way he said it made me think he wasn't talking about Bella's progress. "Girl, he was watching you?" Rachel, my sister, nearly choked on her wine. "We were at her apartment for our weekly dinner, and I just recounted the afternoon." "The entire time?" "The entire time. Not really watching Bella, just watching me. That's either really creepy or really hot. It's definitely unsettling. Those eyes, Rachel, it was like being X-rayed." "Did you Google him?" "Should I have?" She was already pulling out her phone. "Alessandro Romano. Oh wow. What?" "He's Nat. He's connected. Like, seriously connected. There are articles about alleged organized crime ties, investigations that went nowhere, the whole thing." My stomach dropped. "You're saying my new client is in the mafia?" "I'm saying there are rumors. Strong rumors. And enough money to make those rumors go away legally." She showed me her phone. "He's a widower, raising his daughter alone, runs several import-export businesses that nobody seems able to pin down exactly. And Grace, he's gorgeous. He was. The photos didn't do him justice. They couldn't capture the presence, the way he commanded space just by existing. This is bad. I should quit. You should be careful. But Grace, you need this job. Student loans, remember? Your tiny apartment with the leaky faucet? This guy's paying you 3 times your usual rate." She was right. When Alessandro's assistant had called with the offer, I'd nearly fainted at the number. Enough that I could actually save money, maybe even move to a better place. Just be professional. Teach the kid, collect your paycheck, and don't get involved in whatever else is going on. Sound advice. I should have followed it. The second lesson was the following week. This time I was prepared for Alessandro's presence. Or so I thought. He was waiting in the music room when I arrived, standing at the window, hands clasped behind his back. He turned when I entered, and I swear the temperature in the room rose 10 degrees. "Miss Miller, punctual again. I appreciate that." "It's just professional. Professional." He repeated the word like he was tasting it. "Yes, that's important, isn't it? Maintaining professional boundaries. Of course. Even when those boundaries become complicated." I had no idea what to say to that. Fortunately, Bella burst in, saving me from responding. "Grace, I practiced every day." Listen. She ran to the piano and immediately launched into the scales I'd taught her, perfectly. "Bella, that's wonderful." "You did practice!" Alessandro moved to his usual chair, but this time I was determined not to let him distract me. I focused entirely on Bella, on teaching her the new song we'd planned, a simple, cheerful melody that suited her personality perfectly. But halfway through demonstrating a tricky passage, I made the mistake of glancing at him. He wasn't just watching anymore. He was leaning forward slightly, elbows on his knees, completely focused. And there was something in his expression, not just interest, but hunger. Like I was the most fascinating thing he'd ever seen. My fingers stumbled on the keys. "Sorry, let me start again." "You're very talented," Alessandro said quietly. "The way you play, there's passion in it, not just technique." "Thank you." "Do you perform? Or just teach?" "Just teach. I'm not really a performer." "Why not?" "Stage fright, mostly. I'm better one-on-one." "Interesting." His gaze never left my face. "You hide yourself. Keep your gift private." "I don't hide." "Bella, go find Maria," he interrupted. Tell her we need refreshments. Miss Miller has been working hard. But Papa, the lesson. 5-minute break. Go. Bella pouted but obeyed, leaving me alone with him. Alessandro stood, moving closer. Not threatening, but deliberate. I'm going to be honest with you, Miss Miller. And I hope you appreciate honesty. I do. I hired you for Bella. She needs structure, discipline, something beautiful in her life. The piano gives her that. You give her that. He stopped a few feet away. But I didn't expect you. I don't understand. I didn't expect to spend an entire week thinking about my daughter's piano teacher. About the way you smile when Bella gets something right. About your hands on those keys, creating something beautiful. He stopped himself. I'm not a man who loses focus, Miss Miller. It's dangerous in my world. And yet you've become a very pleasant distraction. My heart was hammering. Mr. Romano, Alessandro, I'm just here to teach your daughter. I know. And you'll continue to do exactly that. But I'd like to be honest about why I sit in those lessons every week. He smiled slightly. It's not just for Bella anymore. Before I could respond, before I could even process what he was saying, Bella returned with Maria carrying a tray of cookies and juice. Papa, can Grace stay for dinner, please? I'm sure Miss Miller has other commitments, he said smoothly, but his eyes held a question. I should say yes. Should maintain those professional boundaries Rachel talked about. Actually, I'm free, I heard myself say. If it's not an imposition. Never an imposition. His smile widened. Bella, tell Maria we'll be 3 for dinner. Miss Miller is staying. And just like that, I crossed a line I couldn't uncross. Dinner at the Romano house was nothing like I expected. I'd imagined formal dining, multiple courses served by staff, uncomfortable silence, maybe some veiled conversation about whatever import-export business Alessandro really ran. Instead, Bella dragged me to a cozy family dining room, not the grand formal one I'd glimpsed earlier. Maria had made pasta, homemade, the kitchen still smelled amazing, and Alessandro sat at the head of a normal-sized table, tie loosened, looking almost domestic. Grace sits next to me, Bella announced, patting the chair beside her. Bella, let Miss Miller choose where. It's fine. I smiled, taking the seat she'd indicated, which happened to be directly across from Alessandro. Perfect. No way to avoid that intense gaze now. Tell me about yourself, Miss Miller, he said as Maria served the pasta. Beyond piano, what made you become a teacher? My mother was a music teacher. I grew up surrounded by it. Students coming and going, the sound of piano always in the house. It felt natural to follow her path. Was? His tone was gentle. She passed away 5 years ago. Cancer. I'm sorry. Losing a parent. He glanced at Bella, who was focused on twirling pasta. It changes everything. It does. But she left me her love of music. That's something. Do you have other family? A sister, Rachel. She's a lawyer in Brooklyn. Always worrying about me, convinced I'm too trusting for New York. Is she right? His eyes held mine. Are you too trusting? I'd like to think I'm cautious, but open to possibilities. Possibilities. He repeated the word thoughtfully. I like that. Many people close themselves off to possibilities out of fear. And you don't? I can't afford to. In my business, possibilities are opportunities. You either see them and act, or you lose them. Papa has lots of businesses, Bella chimed in. He works all the time. That's why I need piano lessons. So I have something to do while he's working. Bella, Alessandro said gently. I'm never too busy for you. I know, Papa. But Grace makes music fun, and she doesn't get mad when I mess up. Making mistakes is part of learning, I said. The piano doesn't judge you. It just waits for you to try again. See, Papa? Grace gets it. After dinner, Bella insisted on showing me her room, a little girl's dream with books and dolls and a small keyboard in the corner. I practice on this one, she explained. Papa says the big piano is for lessons and special times. That's smart. Keeps it special. Do you think... She hesitated, suddenly shy. Do you think my mama would be proud that I'm learning piano? My heart clenched. I think your mama would be so proud of you. Not just for piano, but for being kind and smart and brave. Papa says she loved music. That's why he got the big piano. For her, I hadn't known that. Hadn't realized the Steinway Grand wasn't just a status symbol, but a memorial. Then every time you play, you're connecting with her. That's beautiful, Bella. She hugged me suddenly, fiercely. I'm glad you're my teacher, Grace. I'm glad too, sweetie. When I came back downstairs, Alessandro was waiting in the foyer. Bella had been called away by Maria for bath time, leaving us alone. Thank you, he said quietly, for what you said to her, about her mother. It's the truth, and Bella needed to hear it. She asks about Sophia sometimes. Her mother. I try to answer, but... He ran a hand through his hair, a gesture so human it made him suddenly more real. I don't know how to talk about losing someone you loved to a child who barely remembers her. You tell her the love was real. That's enough. The rest, the grief, the loss, that's yours to carry, not hers. He stared at me for a long moment. You're wise for 26. I've had practice. My mom died when I was 21, old enough to understand loss, but young enough that it shaped everything after. Is that why you teach? To pass on what she gave you? Maybe. Or maybe I just like seeing people discover they're capable of more than they thought. Bella didn't think she could play a scale a week ago. Now she can. That transformation, it's magic. You believe in magic, Miss Miller? Grace, and yes, I believe in small magics. The kind that happen when you practice something until it becomes part of you. When you create something beautiful from nothing but effort and time. Grace. He said my name like he was testing it. I should let you go. It's late and you have other students tomorrow. I do. Thank you for dinner. And for, I gestured vaguely, for making this feel less like a job. Is that what it feels like? A job? I'm not sure what it feels like anymore. His smile was slow and dangerous. Good. I'd hate to be predictable. He insisted on having his driver take me home. It's late and this neighborhood isn't safe for a woman alone. And I was too tired to argue. In the car, I replayed the evening, the easy conversation, the way Alessandro looked at Bella with complete devotion, the moment in the foyer where the air between us had felt charged with something I didn't want to name. This was dangerous. He was dangerous. A man with alleged organized crime ties, whose world I knew nothing about, who watched me teach piano like I was performing surgery, who made me feel seen in ways that were both thrilling and terrifying. I should quit. Find Bella another teacher. Walk away before this became something I couldn't walk away from. But even as I thought it, I knew I wouldn't. The lessons continued. Every Tuesday and Thursday, I'd arrive at the Romano mansion, teach Bella for an hour, and feel Alessandro's eyes on me the entire time. He never interrupted, never interfered, just watched. And after each lesson, he'd find a reason for me to stay a little longer. Bella wants to show you her new book. Maria made extra food. I have a question about Bella's progress. The questions were never really about Bella. What's your favorite piece to play? He asked one evening as Bella was getting ready for bed. Chopin's Nocturne in E-flat major. It's melancholy but beautiful, like remembering something precious that's gone. Play it for me. What? Play it, now, just for me. His voice was low, intimate, despite the formal music room. I want to hear what you sound like when you're not teaching. When you're just playing, I should say no. Should maintain some boundary between us. But I found myself moving to the piano, settling on the bench, and letting my fingers find the keys. The piece poured out, all the longing and loss and beauty wrapped together. I closed my eyes, lost in it, forgetting Alessandro was there until the final notes faded. When I opened my eyes, he was standing right beside the piano. Close enough to touch. That, he said roughly, is what I thought. You play like you're telling secrets, like the music cost you something. It does. All the best music does. Then thank you for sharing it with me. He reached out, his fingers brushing my cheek so briefly I might have imagined it. You're extraordinary, Grace Miller. I hope you know that. Alessandro, I know. Professional boundaries. The lines we're not supposed to cross. But Grace, those lines have been blurring since the moment you walked into my home. We both know it. This is a bad idea. Probably the worst. And yet I can't bring myself to care. His eyes held mine. Tell me you don't feel this. Tell me I'm alone in it and I'll step back. I'll be nothing but Bella's father at piano lessons. But if you feel even a fraction of what I feel, I can't, I whispered. Alessandro, I can't do this. You're my employer, Bella's father, and your world is dangerous, I know. Trust me, I know better than anyone. His hand dropped. I shouldn't have said anything. I can't forget. That's the problem. I stood, needing distance but not wanting to leave. Every lesson I tell myself I'm here for Bella, that you're just another parent sitting in, but it's not true. I'm hyper-aware of you every second, of how you watch me, of how you look at your daughter with so much love it hurts, of how you speak and move, and I stopped. This is insane. We barely know each other. I know you're kind, that you see people really see them, that you find magic in small things and beauty in effort, that you make my daughter laugh and play music like you're offering pieces of your soul. He moved closer. I know that in 6 weeks you've become the highlight of my week, not because of Bella's progress, though I'm grateful for that, but because you walk into my home and suddenly it feels less like a fortress and more like somewhere I want to be. Alessandro, I'm not asking you to decide anything tonight. I'm just asking you to consider the possibility that this, he gestured between us, might be something worth exploring carefully, slowly, in whatever way feels right to you. And if it doesn't work out, what happens to Bella? Bella gets a piano teacher who cares about her. That doesn't change. You and I, we're adults. We can navigate complications without hurting her. His voice softened. Unless you truly want me to stop, to never mention this again, then I will. I promise I should want that. Should want simple, uncomplicated professional boundaries. I don't want you to stop, I admitted. That's what terrifies me. His smile was devastating. Then we'll take it slow. One step at a time. And Grace, thank you for being honest. What happens now? Now you go home. Think about everything. And next lesson we see where we are. He walked me to the door. But I'd like to take you to dinner. Not here, somewhere public, just us. No Bella, no piano, no lessons. Just 2 people getting to know each other. Would you consider that a date? If you want to call it that. Though I prefer to think of it as possibilities. Despite everything, I smiled. You're using my own words against me. I'm a quick study. So, Saturday night, I'll pick you up at 7. I'll think about it. That's all I ask. But we both knew I'd already decided. Saturday arrived too quickly and not quickly enough. I changed clothes 4 times, finally settling on a simple dress, elegant, but not trying too hard. Rachel called twice to make sure I was still alive and hadn't been disappeared by the mob. He's taking me to dinner, not initiating me into the family business. Grace, you don't know that. What if this is some kind of test? Then I'll fail it honestly. Rachel, I have to go. He'll be here any minute. Text me every hour. If I don't hear from you by midnight, I'm calling the police. You're being dramatic. Someone has to be, since you're being reckless. Maybe I was. But when Alessandro arrived, in a suit that probably cost more than my monthly rent, looking at me like I was the most beautiful thing he'd ever seen, I couldn't bring myself to care about reckless. You look beautiful, he said simply. Thank you. Where are we going? A small place in Brooklyn. No one will recognize me there. Tonight, I'm not Alessandro Romano, head of various businesses. I'm just Sandro, taking a beautiful woman to dinner. Sandro? My family calls me that. Or used to before... He stopped. It's what Sophia called me. I haven't used it in years. I could call you Alessandro. No, I want you to call me Sandro. I want to be that person with you, the one before all the complications. The restaurant was perfect. Small, intimate, the kind of place where you could actually have a conversation. And we did, for hours. He told me about growing up in Brooklyn, about his parents who'd immigrated from Sicily with nothing, about meeting Sophia in college, falling in love, building a life, about her death. Sudden, a car accident when Bella was 3, and the grief that had nearly destroyed him. I threw myself into work, he admitted. Building the businesses, making more money than I'd ever need. Bella had nannies, tutors, everything except the one thing she needed. Her father, actually present. The piano lessons were Maria's idea. She said Bella needed structure, something creative. I agreed because it seemed reasonable. I didn't expect, what? You. I didn't expect to hire someone who'd remind me that there's more to life than work and grief. Who'd make me want to be better? For Bella, yes, but also for myself. I'm not that special, Sandro. You are to me. We talked until the restaurant closed, about everything and nothing, about music and family and dreams and fears. He walked me to his car, hand in mine, and the touch felt significant. A choice we were both making. Thank you for tonight, I said, for trusting me with your story. Thank you for listening, for not judging. He cupped my face gently. Can I kiss you, Grace, just once? I need to know if this is real or just my imagination. I should say no, should maintain some distance, but I tilted my face up, and he kissed me softly, carefully, like I was something precious. And it was real, so real it scared me. When we broke apart, he rested his forehead against mine. Okay, this is definitely not my imagination. Definitely not. Does this terrify you as much as it terrifies me? More, probably. You at least know what you're getting into. I'm just the piano teacher in over her head. You're not in over your head. You're exactly where you're meant to be. He kissed me again. Less careful this time. Let me take you home. And Grace, next lesson won't just be for Bella anymore. You understand that? I understand, and I did. I'd crossed the line completely now. Alessandro Romano, Sandro, wasn't just Bella's father anymore. He was something else. Something dangerous and wonderful and entirely mine. At least for now. The next lesson was torture. Beautiful, exquisite torture. Sandro, sat in his usual chair, but everything had changed. The way he looked at me now wasn't just interested. It was knowing. Intimate. Like we shared a secret that hummed in the air between us. And Bella, oblivious and enthusiastic, kept creating moments that threw us together. Grace, can you show me that hand position again? She held up her hands, and I leaned over to adjust her fingers, acutely aware of Sandro's eyes on us. Like this. See? Curved like you're holding a small ball. Papa, come look. Grace's hands are so pretty on the keys. I can see from here, Piccola. His voice was low, amused. Miss Miller has very elegant hands. I blushed. Actually blushed like a teenager. Thank you. Now, Bella, let's try that passage again. After the lesson, Maria intercepted me in the hallway. Mr. Romano asked if you'd stay for lunch. Bella's request. Of course. But Maria's expression said she knew it wasn't really Bella's request. He's happier. Since you came. Lighter. Maria, I've worked for this family 6 years. Watched him close himself off after Miss Sophia died. Become nothing but work and Bella. No life, no joy. She squeezed my hand. You brought joy back. Don't apologize for that. It's complicated. The best things are, just be careful with him. And with her. Bella's attached to you already. If this doesn't work, I know. I'm trying to be careful. Good. Because that man in there, he doesn't do anything halfway. Once he commits, it's complete. So if you're not sure, I'm terrified, I admitted. But I'm sure, Maria smiled. Then go have lunch with your family. Your family. The words shouldn't have felt so right. Lunch was in the sunroom, bright and warm despite the December cold outside. Bella chattered about her upcoming school winter concert, and Sandro mostly watched me, occasionally joining the conversation, but clearly content just to listen. Grace, will you come to my concert? Bella asked suddenly. It's next Friday. I'm playing Jingle Bells on the recorder, but I wish I could play piano. Next year, Sandro said. When you're ready for performance pieces. This year, recorder is perfect, but I want Grace there. I'm sure Miss Miller has plans. I'd love to come, I interrupted. If that's okay with your father. Sandro's eyes held mine. It's more than okay. We'd both like you there. Yes. Bella bounced in her seat. And Papa, can Grace sit with us? Not in the parent section, but with us? Like family? The word hung in the air. Like family. If Grace is comfortable with that. Sandro said carefully. I'm comfortable. Bella beamed. This is the best day ever. After she ran off to get ready for an art class, Sandro walked me to the music room. You don't have to come to the concert. Bella put you on the spot. I want to come. Unless you don't want me there, Grace, I want you everywhere. At concerts, at dinner, in my home, in my life. He pulled me close, right there in the doorway where anyone could see. but I need to know this is real for you. That you're not just being kind to Bella or feeling obligated because of the job. The job stopped being just a job weeks ago. You know that. Say it clearly, so there's no confusion. I have feelings for you, Alessandro Romano. Real feelings. Terrifying feelings. The kind that make me rethink every careful decision I've ever made. His smile was devastating. Good. Because I'm falling in love with you, Grace Miller. Have been since you played that first Mozart piece and made my daughter laugh, and I don't do anything halfway. Maria warned me about that. Maria's wise. So I'm warning you too. Once I commit to something, I'm all in. Complete. If you want slow and cautious, you should leave now. And if I want all in, then stay. Let me take you and Bella ice skating this Saturday. Let me kiss you goodnight after lessons. Let me introduce you to my family as someone important. He stopped. Let me love you. Properly. The way you deserve. We've known each other 6 weeks. I fell for Sophia in 3 days. When you know, you know. That's insane. Probably. But Grace, I've spent 4 years barely living. Just surviving, going through motions. You made me want to actually live again. That's not something I'm walking away from just because the timeline seems fast. I should be scared. Should run from this intensity. Instead, I pulled him down and kissed him. Right there where anyone could see. When we broke apart, he was grinning. I'll take that as a yes to ice skating. Yes to ice skating. Yes to goodnight kisses. Yes to seeing where this goes. That's all I need. For now. Friday's concert was chaos in the best way. 207-year-olds playing recorders with varying degrees of success. Proud parents filming everything. Bella in the front row glowing with excitement. And me, sitting between Sandro and an empty seat he'd saved, in case anyone else wants to join us. Feeling like I belonged. Bella's performance was adorable. She hit maybe 70% of the right notes. But her enthusiasm made up for any technical issues. After she ran to us and Sandro scooped her up, "You were magnificent, Piccola. I messed up the end." No one noticed. And even if they did, who cares? You tried your best and had fun. That's what matters. Grace, did you like it? I loved it. You're a natural performer. Really? Because I was so nervous. Being nervous means you care. That's good. I touched her hair gently. I'm proud of you, sweetie. She hugged me tightly, and over her head, Sandro's eyes met mine. The look there made my breath catch, tenderness and heat and something deeper. Something that looked a lot like love. Ice cream, Bella announced. Papa promised ice cream if I didn't run away. The bar for success is very low, Sandro said dryly. But yes, ice cream. Grace, will you join us? Please, Grace. Please, please, please. How can I say no to that? The ice cream shop was crowded with post-concert families, but we found a corner booth. Bella demolished a sundae while chattering about her classmates, and Sandro's hand found mine under the table. Thank you for being here, he said quietly. Where else would I be? I don't know. Living your own life. Not getting pulled into mine. Maybe I like your life. At least the parts I've seen. You haven't seen all of it. The business side, Grace. I meant what I said about my world being dangerous. There are aspects of what I do that I can't share. That I won't share. To keep you safe. I know. And I'm not asking you to. Whatever you do to provide for Bella, to build your businesses, that's yours. I'm just asking for this. The ice cream and concerts and piano lessons. The real parts. You have all the real parts, I promise. A man approached our table. Expensive suit, cold eyes, the kind of presence that made other patrons unconsciously move away. Romano. Didn't expect to see you at a school concert. Sandro's entire demeanor changed. Still relaxed, but with an edge underneath. Vincent. Enjoying the evening? Just picking up my nephew. Vincent's eyes flicked to me, assessing. And who's this? Grace Miller, Bella's piano teacher. Grace, this is Vincent Caruso, an associate. The word associate carried weight I didn't understand. Pleasure, Vincent said, though his tone said otherwise. Romano, we should talk about that matter we discussed, Monday. At the office. Tonight's personal time, of course. Wouldn't want to interrupt, but his smile was sharp. Enjoy your evening. After he left, Sandro's jaw was tight. I'm sorry about that. Who is he? Someone I do business with. Not someone you need to worry about. Sandro, Grace, please. Not here, not in front of Bella. He was right. But the encounter had reminded me that Sandro's world extended beyond piano lessons and ice cream. That there were parts of his life I didn't see, didn't understand. That could be dangerous. Later, after Bella was dropped off with Maria, Sandro drove me home. We sat in his car outside my building, the silence heavy. "I can't change what I am," he said finally. "What I do. The family business. It's complicated and not entirely legal. I'm working to legitimize things, but it takes time. And there are people, like Vincent, who are part of that world, who I can't just cut out without consequences." "I know. Do you?" "Because, Grace, dating me means accepting that there are things I can't tell you, places you can't go, risks you'll face just by being associated with me. Are you trying to scare me off?" "I'm trying to be honest. You deserve to know what you're getting into. Then tell me honestly, is Bella safe? Are you?" "Bella is the most protected 7-year-old in New York, and I'm careful. Always." "Then that's enough." "I'm not naive, Sandro. I know your world isn't normal, but I also know that you're a good father, a good man, and someone I'm falling in love with. The rest, we'll figure it out as we go." He pulled me close, kissing me deeply. "I don't deserve you. Probably not. But you're stuck with me anyway. Promise?" "Promise." The next few weeks fell into a pattern. Lessons on Tuesday and Thursday, family dinners after. Date nights when Bella was at sleepovers or with Maria. Slow integration into Sandro's life in ways that felt natural. He met Rachel one Sunday. Italian lunch in Brooklyn, where my sister interrogated him relentlessly before finally declaring him acceptable. I guess for a possible crime boss. "I'm definitely a crime boss," Sandro said easily. "Let's not pretend otherwise." Rachel had choked on her wine. "Did he just admit it openly?" "Yes," I sighed. "He doesn't believe in hiding things." "I don't believe in insulting your intelligence," Sandro corrected. "Rachel, your sister knows what I am. She's choosing to be with me anyway. I'm working to legitimize my businesses, but it takes time. In the meantime, I can promise that Grace and anyone she loves is under my protection. No one will touch her. Ever." "That's both romantic and terrifying," Rachel observed. "Welcome to my life," I muttered. But she'd approved. Grudgingly, but still, Bella's Christmas concert was magical, this time a piano piece. Simple but perfect, and she dedicated it to Grace, who taught me. Watching her play, seeing Sandro's pride, feeling like I was part of something beautiful. I realized I'd stopped thinking about this as temporary. Somewhere along the way, this had become my family. After the concert, Sandro pulled me aside. "I have something for you. Christmas present, but I can't wait." He handed me a small box. Inside was a key. What key to the house? "So you can come and go. So you don't have to wait for Maria to let you in. So," he stopped. "So you know you belong here, with us. If you want that. Sandro, I know it's fast. I know we've only been together a few months. But Grace, I meant what I said. I don't do anything halfway. And I want you in my life. Completely. Officially. I want Bella to have you as..." He hesitated. "As whatever you want to be. Teacher, friend, more. I'm not asking you to decide everything tonight. Just asking if you'll take the key. Consider what it means." I looked at the key. Small piece of metal that represented everything. Commitment, trust, family, future. All the things that terrified and thrilled me. "Yes," I said. "I'll take the key." His smile was brilliant. "Yeah?" "Yeah, because Sandro, I'm not doing this halfway either. I love you. I love Bella. I love the life we're building. And I want to see where it goes. I love you too. So much." He kissed me, right there in the hallway with people streaming past. "You're mine now, Grace Miller. For as long as you'll have me." That might be a while. I'm counting on it. 3 months after the house key, I used it for the first time without planning to. It was a Tuesday, lesson day, but I'd arrived an hour early with fresh bagels and coffee, wanting to surprise Sandro and Bella. Maria's car wasn't in the driveway, which was unusual, but I let myself in with the key he'd given me. "Hello? Sandro, Bella?" Voices from his office. Male voices. Tense. I should have left. Should have gone back outside and texted that I was early. But I heard Sandro's voice. Sharp, commanding in a way I'd never heard before. and I moved toward it without thinking. Told you the shipment terms were non-negotiable. If Marconi has a problem with that, he can bring it to me directly instead of sending his dogs. I stopped outside the cracked office door. Through it, I could see Sandro behind his desk, and two men I didn't recognize. Vincent Caruso stood to the side, arms crossed. "Marconi says you're getting soft," one of the men said. "Says you're distracted by your new girlfriend. That maybe you're not the right person to be making decisions anymore." The temperature in the room seemed to drop 10 degrees. "Marconi says a lot of things. Most of them are stupid." Sandro's voice was deadly calm. "But I'll make this clear. My personal life is off limits. My business decisions stand on their own merit. And if anyone thinks they can challenge my authority by threatening people I care about, they'll learn very quickly why I've held this position for 8 years. We're just delivering the message, and I'm delivering one back. Tell Marconi that if he has issues with how I run things, he can request a sit-down like a civilized adult. But if he ever mentions Grace Miller's name again in any context, there will be consequences. Do we understand each other?" "Yeah, we understand." "Good. Vincent will show you out." I backed away from the door quickly, but not quickly enough. As the men left, Vincent saw me. His eyes narrowed. Then he looked back at Sandro's office, and something like amusement crossed his face. "Miss Miller. Early today? I brought bagels. Wanted to surprise everyone. I'm sure you'll want to wait in the music room." It wasn't a suggestion. I went, my heart pounding. Sandro had just threatened someone over me, over my name being mentioned. The reality of his world, the violence underneath the expensive suits, had just become very real. 10 minutes later, he found me sitting at the piano, not playing, just staring at the keys. "You heard?" It wasn't a question. I didn't mean to. I came early, and, "Grace, look at me." He crouched down beside the bench. "Are you afraid?" "Should I be?" "Of me? Never. But of what I am, what I do, yes. Maybe you should be." "That man. Marconi. He threatened me because of you?" He implied I was distracted. "That you were a weakness." His jaw tightened. He was wrong. "You're not a weakness. You're the reason I'm sharper, more focused. But Grace, this is what I tried to warn you about. People will see our relationship as something they can exploit, as leverage. What did you mean by consequences? Nothing you need to worry about." "Sandro, Grace, please. Let me handle my world, and you focus on Bella's piano lessons and our life together. That's the deal." "The deal? When did we make a deal?" "When you took the key? When you said you loved me knowing what I was?" "The deal is, I handle the dangerous parts, and you get the good parts. That's how this works." I stood, needing space. "That's not fair to you. You shouldn't have to carry all of that alone." "I'm not alone. I have Vincent, Marco, people who understand that world." "But you—" He moved closer. "You're the light, Grace. The part of my life that's clean and good and beautiful. I won't let my darkness touch that. I'm not as fragile as you think. I know you're strong, but strength doesn't make you bulletproof. And I've seen what this world does to people who aren't prepared for it." He cupped my face. "I lost Sophia. I won't lose you too. So yes, I'll keep you separate from the business. I'll protect you whether you want me to or not, because losing you would destroy me." "Sandro," the front door burst open. "Papa, Grace!" "Are you here?" Bella's voice, followed by Maria apologizing for being late. "Traffic on the bridge." "We're here, Piccola." Sandro called, his entire demeanor shifting back to the father I knew. But his eyes held mine. This conversation isn't over. The lesson was tense. Bella didn't notice, but I felt the weight of what I'd overheard. Sandro sat in his usual chair, but his attention was split, watching me, watching the door, clearly still processing the earlier meeting. After Bella finished, Maria took her to start homework, and Sandro pulled me back into his office. "I need to ask you something. And I need complete honesty, okay? Are you afraid of me, after what you heard?" I thought about it. Really thought about it. "No, I'm afraid for you. But not of you. Why afraid for me? Because you're juggling two worlds, the legitimate businessman and father, and whatever else you do. And Sandro, those worlds don't usually coexist peacefully. Something's going to give eventually, I know. Which is why I'm accelerating the timeline." "What timeline?" He pulled out a folder. "These are contracts. To sell off the non-legitimate parts of my business to other families. Vincent's been negotiating for months. In 6 months, maybe a year, I'll be completely clean. Just the legitimate businesses. Real estate, restaurants, import-export that's actually legal. All of it. Why? Because I want a future with you. A real one. Where you don't have to worry about men like Marconi using you as leverage. Where Bella can grow up proud of what her father does instead of confused by it. Where I can sleep at night without wondering if someone's going to try to kill me to take my position. Sandro, you don't have to do this for me. I'm doing it for us. For Bella. For the life I want instead of the one I inherited. He took my hands. But Grace, until those deals are done, things might get dangerous. There are people who don't want me to go legitimate, who benefit from the way things are. I need you to trust that I can handle it. I do trust you. And I need you to promise that if I ever tell you to stay away, to not come to the house, to not contact me, you'll listen. No questions, no arguments. Can you promise that? Fear crawled up my spine. Why would you need me to do that? Insurance. In case things go bad. I need to know you're safe. What about Bella? She's always protected. Always. But you're the variable I can't control. The one thing they could use against me. So promise me, I promise. But Sandro, don't shut me out. Whatever happens, don't shut me out. I won't. Not unless I have to. He pulled me into his arms. I love you. More than I've ever loved anyone except Bella. You need to know that. I love you too. Which is why I need you to be careful. To not take unnecessary risks. Always careful. I have too much to live for now. He kissed me, and I tried to ignore the voice in my head saying this was the beginning of something, not the end. The next 2 months were tense. Sandro was distracted, taking calls at odd hours, having more meetings in his office with men in expensive suits and cold eyes. But he tried to keep it separate from our time together. We had dinner most nights. Me, Sandro, and Bella, like a real family. We went to the park on weekends. I taught Bella increasingly complex pieces, and she thrived under the attention. And Sandro and I grew closer. Stealing kisses in hallways, late-night phone calls when he couldn't sleep, mornings where I'd arrive early and find him already awake, drinking espresso and looking haunted. Talk to me, I said one morning, finding him on the terrace despite the February cold. It's almost done. The deals. Vincent finalized the last one yesterday. In 2 weeks, I'm out. Completely legitimate. That's good news. Why do you look worried? Because the handover period is dangerous. People get nervous about transitions. Wonder if they're getting the short end. And Marconi, he's been making noise. Says I'm betraying the family traditions. That going legitimate is weakness. What does that mean? It means I need to be extra careful. And so do you. He turned to face me. Grace, I want you to take Bella away for a week. Spring break is coming up. Take her to Disney or somewhere safe. Somewhere far from here while the final deals close. You want me to take your daughter across the country while you handle dangerous business deals? I want both of you safe. Maria will go too. Full security detail. But I need to know you're out of reach. What about you? I'll be fine. This is what I do. Sandro, please, Grace, I'm asking. Take Bella somewhere fun. Somewhere she'll be distracted. And let me finish this so we can have the life we want. I wanted to argue. Wanted to stay and face whatever was coming together. But looking at his face, the worry, the determination, the love, I couldn't. Okay, we'll go. But you have to promise you'll be careful. That you'll come back to us. I promise. Always. He kissed me deeply. And when you get back, I want to talk. About the future. About making this permanent. Permanent? Grace, I want you to be Bella's stepmother. Officially. I want to marry you. But I need to get through this first. Need to make sure you're walking into a clean life, not a dangerous one. My heart stopped. You want to marry me? Did you think this was casual? That I gave you a house key and integrated you into every part of my life for fun? He smiled. I've been in love with you for months, Grace. The ring's already bought. I'm just waiting for the right moment. When everything's settled and safe, you bought a ring? 3 months ago. It's in my safe, waiting. He touched my face gently. So go to Disney with my daughter. Keep her safe and happy. And when you come back, if you'll have me, I'll ask you properly. With the ring and everything, I'll say yes, just so you know. I'm counting on it. Disney was magical and terrifying in equal measure. Bella was in heaven. Princesses, rides, ice cream for breakfast. Maria was patient and watchful. And the security team Sandro had sent was invisible but constant. but I couldn't stop worrying. Checking my phone obsessively, texting Sandro every night and waiting for his responses to confirm he was okay. Everything's fine. Deal closes tomorrow. Miss you both. Can't wait to have you home. Miss you too. Bella asks about you constantly. She wants to buy you a Mickey Mouse hat. Tell her I'd be honored. And Grace, one more day. Then it's over. Then we start our real life. That was the last message I got. The next morning, Maria woke me before dawn. It's Mr. Romano. There's been an incident. What kind of incident? My voice was surprisingly steady despite my hands shaking. He's alive. Injured but stable. There was an altercation during the final negotiation. He's at Mount Sinai. Vincent is with him. Maria's face was pale. We need to go back, now. Bella is still sleeping. We tell her Papa had an accident. Nothing more. She doesn't need details. The flight back was the longest 5 hours of my life. Bella sensed something was wrong despite our attempts to act normal. Maria distracted her with games and snacks while I stared out the window, Sandro's last text playing on repeat in my mind. One more day. Then it's over. It wasn't over. It might never be over. At the hospital, Vincent met us in the private waiting area, his usual cold expression cracked with something that looked like worry. How is he? Stable. Gunshot wound to the shoulder, some bruising, possible concussion. Could have been worse. Much worse. Vincent glanced at Bella, who was clutching Maria's hand. He's asking for you. Both of you. Gunshot? My voice broke. Marconi made his move during the signing. Tried to... He stopped, aware of Bella. The situation is handled. Permanently. But Mr. Romano needs to see you. Maria took Bella to get hot chocolate, while I followed Vincent through secured corridors to a private room with guards at the door. Inside, Sandro lay in the hospital bed, shoulder heavily bandaged, face bruised, but alive. So alive, Grace. His voice was rough. You came back early. Of course I came back. Vincent said, Sandro, what happened? Marconi decided if he couldn't stop me from going legitimate, he'd stop me permanently. Brought a gun to the signing. Got one shot off before Vincent. He stopped. It's over. Really over. Marconi's dead. The deals are finalized. I'm out. I moved to his side, carefully taking his uninjured hand. You almost died. But I didn't. And Grace, I need to tell you. Papa. Bella's voice from the doorway. She'd escaped Maria and was staring at Sandro with wide, terrified eyes. Papa, you're hurt. Come here, Piccola. Sandro's voice gentled immediately. I'm okay. Just a little accident. Nothing to worry about. Bella climbed onto the bed carefully, and he wrapped his good arm around her. You're sure you're okay? I promise. A few weeks and I'll be perfect. Ready to hear you play that new Chopin piece you've been practicing. I practiced every day in Disney. Grace helped me. She looked at me. Grace was worried about you. She checked her phone like 1,000,000 times. Did she? Sandro's eyes met mine over Bella's head. Well, I'm glad she cares. She loves you, Papa. Everyone knows that. I love her too, Piccolina. Very much. After Maria took Bella to the cafeteria, promising chocolate cake and more hot chocolate, Sandro pulled me down to sit on the bed beside him. This isn't how I wanted to do this. Do what? This. He reached for the bedside table with his good hand, wincing. From the drawer, he pulled out a small velvet box. I was going to wait. Do it properly. Dinner, champagne, romance. But Grace, I just got shot. And all I could think about while it was happening was that I might die without asking you, without making this official. Sandro, let me finish. Please. He opened the box, revealing a stunning ring. Simple, elegant. A single diamond that caught the fluorescent light beautifully. Grace Miller, I love you. I've loved you since you walked into my home and made my daughter laugh. Since you played Chopin like you were sharing secrets. Since you looked at me, really looked at me, and saw someone worth loving despite everything. I want to marry you. Want you to be Bella's mother officially. Want to wake up next to you every morning and fall asleep holding you every night. Want to build a life that's clean and good and everything Sophia and I never got to have. So will you, even though I'm injured and drugged and this is possibly the worst proposal in history. Will you marry me? Tears streamed down my face. Yes, God, yes. But Sandro, you scared me. When Maria said there was an incident, I know. I'm sorry, but it's over now. Really over. The legitimate businesses are mine. The dangerous parts are sold. And I'm going to spend the rest of my life making you happy. If you'll let me, I'll let you. I leaned down carefully, kissing him. But if you ever get shot again, I'm going to kill you myself. Fair. Though I'm planning to avoid getting shot from now on. Hurts like hell. He slipped the ring on my finger with his good hand. There, now you're mine. Officially. I've been yours for months. Now everyone knows it. Maria and Bella returned, and Bella's eyes went straight to the ring. Grace, are you getting married to Papa? I am. Is that okay with you? Are you kidding? This is the best thing ever. She bounced on the bed, making Sandro wince. Sorry, Papa, but Grace is going to be my new mama. Not new. Additional, Sandro said gently. Your mama, Sophia, she'll always be your mama. But Grace will be there too. Loving you, taking care of you, being part of our family. Can I call her Mama Grace? If Grace is okay with that. I was crying again. I'd be honored. Bella hugged me tightly. I'm so happy. Maria, did you hear? Grace is going to be my mama. Maria smiled, tears in her own eyes. I heard, little one. This is very good news. Sandro came home 2 days later, still healing but determined to be out of the hospital. The first thing he did was gather Bella and me in the music room. Play something, he said, settling carefully into his chair. Both of you. A duet. Papa, I'm not good enough. You're perfect enough. Grace will help you. Play that piece you've been working on. The simple Mozart. Bella and I sat at the piano together, her playing the melody, me playing the harmony. It wasn't perfect, but it was beautiful. And watching Sandro watch us, the love on his face unmistakable, I understood what he'd been trying to tell me all along. This was his real life. Not the business meetings in danger. This. Music and family and moments that mattered. When we finished, he was smiling. Perfect. Both of you. My whole world in one song. You're getting sappy, Papa. I'm allowed. I almost died. That gives me lifetime sappy privileges. He looked at me. Grace, I want to marry you soon. Not a big wedding, just family and friends. Something simple but real. Can we do that? How soon? Next month? I know it's fast, but I've wasted enough time. I want you to be my wife. Officially, legally, in every way that matters. Next month sounds perfect. 1 month later, the wedding was small, just 30 people in the mansion's garden, which Maria and Bella had helped decorate with white flowers and fairy lights. Rachel stood as my maid of honor, crying through the entire ceremony. Vincent was best man, looking deeply uncomfortable in his role, but doing it anyway because Sandro had asked. Bella was flower girl, wearing a dress she'd picked herself and taking her role very seriously. She walked down the aisle throwing petals with precise care, then stood between us during the ceremony. You look beautiful, Sandro whispered as I reached him. His shoulder was still healing. He couldn't wear a jacket, just a vest over his white shirt. But he was standing. Alive. Mine. You look pretty good yourself. For a guy who got shot 3 weeks ago. For the man I'm about to marry. The ceremony was simple. Traditional vows, with one addition, Bella's voice joining us. Do you promise to love my papa forever? She asked me solemnly. I do. Forever. And do you promise to let me call you Mama Grace? Always. And do you promise to keep teaching me piano even though you're married now? Bella, Sandro laughed. That wasn't part of the script, but it's important. She looked at me. Promise? I promise. For as long as you want to learn. Okay? Then you can marry Papa now. The officiant was trying not to laugh. Well then, by the power vested in me, and apparently with Bella's permission, I now pronounce you husband and wife. Alessandro, you may kiss your bride. He did. Thoroughly. Until Bella made gagging noises and everyone laughed. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. and Mrs. Romano, and Bella, who made this possible. The reception was perfect. Good food, better wine, toast that made me cry. Rachel's speech about how I'd found my person. Vincent's surprisingly heartfelt words about Sandro deserving happiness. Maria's blessing in rapid Italian that Sandro translated later as, May you be as happy as you've made this house. But my favorite moment was late in the evening. Most guests had gone home. Bella was asleep on a garden bench, exhausted. And Sandro pulled me onto the makeshift dance floor for one last dance. Happy? He asked, deliriously. You? More than I thought possible. Grace, you saved me. You know that? I think we saved each other. Maybe. But you walked into my life when I'd given up on anything except surviving. And you made me want to actually live again. That's not a small thing. You did the same for me. After my mom died, I was just going through motions. Teaching because it was expected, not because I loved it. But with Bella, with you, I remembered why music matters, why teaching matters, why love matters. So we're both disasters who fixed each other. Something like that. He kissed me softly. I love you, Grace Romano. I love you too, Sandro. My husband. Say that again. I like the sound of it. My husband. Better every time. He pulled me closer. Thank you for taking a chance on the guy who sat in on piano lessons just to watch you. For seeing past the danger to the person underneath. For loving my daughter like she's yours. For falling in love with you? That was the easy part. I touched his face gently. Everything else, the danger, the complications, the uncertainty, that was hard. But you? Loving you was inevitable. Inevitable. I like that better than crazy or reckless. It was those things too, but mostly inevitable. Bella stirred on the bench, and Sandro scooped her up easily despite his healing shoulder. Come on, let's get our daughter to bed. Our daughter. The words sounded perfect. 2 years later, Mama Grace. Listen to this. Bella, now 9 and considerably more skilled, played through a complex Beethoven piece with only minor stumbles. That's beautiful, sweetheart. You've been practicing. Every day. Papa says if I keep improving, maybe I can audition for the youth conservatory next year. I looked at Sandro, who was in his usual chair, still watching every lesson, still looking at me like I was magic. You'd support that? The conservatory. If it's what she wants, I want her to have every opportunity, including the ones I never had. After the lesson, Bella ran off to show Maria her progress, and Sandro pulled me into his lap. Have I mentioned today that I love you? Not in the last hour. I was starting to worry. Can't have that. He kissed me thoroughly. I love you, Grace Romano. Today, tomorrow, always. I love you too. Even though you're still annoyingly distracting during lessons. I'm not watching the lessons. I'm watching you. There's a difference. Still distracting. I'll try to be less obvious. Please don't. I like knowing you're there. Always. For every lesson, every concert, every moment. That's the deal. Best deal I ever made. Best piano teacher I ever hired. You hired me to teach Bella. I hired you because you made my daughter laugh and my house feel like a home. The piano teaching was just a bonus. He touched my face gently. Thank you for saying yes. To all of it. The lessons, the dates, the proposal, the life. Thank you for sitting in on every lesson. For watching me like I was the most fascinating thing in the world. For making me fall in love with you. That was the plan all along. Very presumptuous. Very determined. There's a difference. Bella's voice called from upstairs. Mama Grace, Papa, can we have ice cream for dinner? That's a terrible idea, I called back. Which means yes, Bella responded. Sandro laughed. You're too easy. She's your daughter. She learned manipulation from the best. Fair point. He stood, pulling me up with him. Come on, let's give our daughter ice cream for dinner and pretend we're responsible adults. When did we become the kind of parents who do that? The moment you married me. I'm a bad influence. The worst. But you love me anyway. Unfortunately, yes. We headed upstairs together, and I thought about that first lesson. About Alessandro Romano sitting in his chair, watching me teach his daughter, looking at me like I was something precious and fascinating and worth breaking his own rules for. I'd thought he was just another overprotective parent. Turns out he was the love of my life, patiently waiting for me to catch up. Some piano lessons change everything. Mine changed my entire world, and I wouldn't change a single note. 5 years after the wedding, the sound of piano filled the house at 7 a.m. Not unusual anymore. But today it was particularly enthusiastic. I smiled into my coffee, listening to 14-year-old Bella work through a Rachmaninoff piece that would have been impossible for her just 2 years ago. "She's going to wake Lucas," Sandro murmured, appearing behind me to wrap his arms around my waist, his chin resting on my shoulder. "Lucas could sleep through a bomb. Your son inherited your ability to sleep anywhere, anytime. Our son. And he's 3. All 3-year-olds sleep like that." As if summoned, the patter of small feet announced Lucas's arrival. He appeared in the kitchen doorway, dark hair sticking up at angles, clutching his stuffed lion, the same one that had been Bella's favorite years ago. "Mama, why is Bella so loud?" "Because she has her final conservatory audition today, baby. She's nervous." "Oh." He climbed into Sandro's arms without hesitation. "Papa, can we have pancakes?" "Can you say please?" "Please, Papa, with chocolate chips." Sandro kissed his son's head. "How can I say no to that? Grace, you want pancakes? I want to sit and watch you make them while I drink my coffee. Pregnancy privilege." His eyes immediately went to my still flat stomach, barely 8 weeks along, a surprise we'd only discovered last month. "You're not overdoing it?" The doctor said I'm perfectly healthy and can continue all normal activities, including drinking coffee and watching my husband make pancakes. I smiled at his protective expression. Some things never changed. "Sandro, I'm fine." "We're fine. I know. He stopped, clearly remembering he had an audience. "Pancakes. Right. Coming up." Bella appeared in the doorway, slightly sweaty from practicing, her hair pulled back in a messy ponytail. At 14, she was all legs and attitude, but her eyes still lit up when she saw her little brother. "Lucas, you're supposed to be sleeping." "Bella was too loud," he reported seriously. "I was practicing. My audition is in 4 hours." "Bella, breathe," I said gently. "You're ready. More than ready. You've been preparing for this for 2 years. But what if I mess up? What if I forget the Chopin? What if—" "Then you recover and keep playing," Sandro said, already mixing pancake batter with Lucas, helping by stealing chocolate chips. "Music isn't about perfection, Piccola. It's about passion. You have that in abundance." "Papa's right," I added. "And besides, you've performed that Chopin piece at least 50 times. Your fingers know it even if your brain doesn't. That's what you always say. Because it's always true." I stood, moving to hug her. "You're going to be magnificent. Just like you always are." She hugged me back tightly. "What if I don't get in? Then we try again next year. Or we find a different program. Or you decide the conservatory isn't what you want after all, and we support that too." I pulled back to look at her. "Bella, there's no wrong outcome today. Just an experience. Just you sharing your gift. When did you get so wise?" "When I started teaching a 7-year-old who asked too many questions and made me think about what music really means." Sandro looked over from the stove, and the look he gave me was the same one from 7 years ago. Like I was magic. Like I'd hung the moon. Like he couldn't quite believe I was real. Some things really never changed. The audition was at Carnegie Hall, not the main stage, but one of the smaller practice halls used by the Youth Conservatory program. We arrived early, and Bella immediately disappeared into the practice room with other nervous teenagers. "She's going to be fine," I told Sandro, who was pacing. "I know. I just remember her first lesson. She could barely reach the pedals. And now she's auditioning for one of the most prestigious music programs in the country. Time flies when you're watching your daughter grow up. Speaking of which," he touched my stomach gently. "Have you thought about names?" "Sandro, we don't even know the gender yet. I know. But I like to be prepared. You have a list, don't you? A short one. Just 10 or 12 options." "Of course you do." I leaned against him. "Let's get through today first. Then we'll talk about baby names." Lucas, who'd been coloring quietly in the waiting area, suddenly looked up. "Mama, when the baby comes, will you still teach me piano?" "Of course, sweetheart. I'll teach you and the new baby, just like I taught Bella." "But Bella's really good." "What if I'm not good?" Sandro crouched down to his level. "Then you'll be good at something else. Music isn't the only important thing, Lucas. It's just one beautiful thing. You'll find your own beautiful things." "Like you did?" "Exactly like I did. I found business and family and—" He glanced at me. "And your mama. Those are my beautiful things. I think my beautiful thing is dinosaurs. Dinosaurs are excellent. Very important. Sandro's face was completely serious. The world needs dinosaur experts. When Bella finally performed, we were allowed to watch from the back of the room. She walked to the piano with confidence that hadn't existed 7 years ago, sat down, took a breath, and began. The Rachmaninoff poured out. Technically perfect, but more than that, emotionally resonant. She played like she'd learned from me, with passion, with pieces of her soul in every note. And when she transitioned into the Chopin, the room seemed to hold its breath. Sandro's hand found mine, squeezing tightly. I could see tears in his eyes, and I understood. This was his baby. The little girl who'd lost her mother so young, who'd been so serious and careful until music opened her up. And now she was here, sharing her gift with the world. When she finished, the silence lasted a heartbeat before the panel began writing notes. Bella stood, bowed slightly, and walked out with her head high. In the hallway, she saw us and burst into tears. Hey! Sandro pulled her into his arms. What's wrong? I messed up the middle section of the Rachmaninoff. Did you hear it? You recovered beautifully, I interrupted. Bella, I've been teaching piano for 12 years. That was one of the most moving performances I've ever witnessed. Messed up section or not? Really? Really. And Lucas thought you sounded like a princess, which I think is the highest compliment he knows how to give. That got a watery laugh. Thanks, Lucas. You're welcome. Can we get ice cream now? Yes, Sandro decided. We're definitely getting ice cream. All of us. To celebrate Bella being brave enough to audition and Lucas being patient enough to sit through it. And Mama being pregnant, Lucas announced loudly. Several nearby parents turned to stare. I felt my face flush. Lucas! That was supposed to be a secret. Oops, sorry, Mama. Sandro was trying not to laugh. Well, I guess the secret's out. Yes, we're expecting. Due in 7 months. We'll be sure to send announcements. The acceptance letter came 2 weeks later. Bella got in. Not just accepted, but offered a scholarship. She'd be studying with some of the best instructors in the country, performing in recitals, maybe even competing internationally. This is because of you, Sandro said that evening after Bella had finally stopped screaming and calling everyone she knew. You gave her this. I gave her technique and theory. She gave herself the passion. You gave her more than technique. You gave her confidence, the belief that she could create something beautiful and share it with the world. He pulled me close. You gave me that too, the belief that I could have a life beyond just survival, that I deserved beauty and love and second chances. Third chances, technically. You had Sophia first, then Bella, then me, then you and Lucas and this new baby. I keep getting chances to get it right, to build something worth having. He touched my stomach. Do you ever regret it? Walking into my home 7 years ago? Getting tangled up in my complicated life? Not once. Even when you got shot, even when your world scared me, not once did I regret loving you. Good. Because I'm never letting you go. You know that, right? I'd figured that out. You're very possessive, only about things that matter. And Grace, you matter more than anything. He kissed me softly. Thank you. For what? For sitting down at that piano 7 years ago and making my daughter laugh. For seeing past the intimidating boss to the father who just wanted his child to be happy. For falling in love with both of us. For giving me Lucas and this new baby. For making this house feel like a home instead of a fortress. I kissed him to shut him up. You're getting sappy again, I told you. Lifetime sappy privileges? You agreed to them when you married me. Did I? I don't remember that in the vows. It was implied. In the part where you promised to love me even when I'm annoying. That was definitely in there. Bella appeared in the doorway. Are you two being gross again? We're being married. There's a difference. Same thing. But she was smiling. Papa, can Grace and I play a duet at the celebration recital next month? The conservatory wants me to perform with a mentor. Grace is your stepmother now, not your teacher. She's both. She'll always be both. Bella looked at me. Will you? Play with me? One more time before I'm too advanced for you? You've been too advanced for me for 2 years, and we both know it. But yes, I'll play with you. What piece? That Mozart we played at your wedding. The simple one. I know it's basic for me now, but... She hesitated. It feels right. Like completing something we started, I was crying again. Pregnancy hormones were making me incredibly sentimental. That sounds perfect, sweetheart. 1 month later, the recital. The conservatory's recital hall was packed. Bella had performed 3 complex pieces already, works by Liszt, Debussy, and Prokofiev that showcased her technical skill and emotional depth. The audience was impressed. The instructors were pleased. But then she returned to the stage for the final piece. "This is a bit different," she said into the microphone, her voice steady despite her nerves at public speaking. "This is the piece I played with my stepmother, my first teacher, at her wedding to my papa 7 years ago. We were learning together then. She was teaching me scales, and I was teaching her how to be a mom. And now," her voice wavered, "now she's the best mom I could ask for. Even though my first mama is still in my heart, Grace gave me music and love, and a family that grew bigger and better. So this is for her, and for my papa, who sat in every single lesson just to watch her. And for Lucas and the new baby who's coming. For all of us." She gestured, and I stood from the audience, making my way to the stage. At 6 months pregnant now, I moved more carefully, but I got there. Sat beside Bella at the piano bench one more time. "Ready?" I whispered, always. "Thank you for everything, Mama Grace. Thank you for letting me be part of your life, sweet girl." We played the simple Mozart duet. Her melody, my harmony, just like 7 years ago. But everything was different now. She was different. I was different. We were family in ways neither of us had imagined that first lesson. When we finished, the applause was thunderous. Bella hugged me tightly and I held her. My first child in all the ways that mattered. From the audience, Sandro stood, my husband, still watching me like I was the most fascinating thing in the world, holding Lucas, who was clapping enthusiastically. This was my life. This impossible, beautiful, unexpected life that had started with piano lessons and turned into everything. Later, at home, after Bella was asleep and Lucas was tucked in, Sandro and I stood in the music room, the room where it all began. "Do you remember the first time you played for me?" he asked. "Just for me?" "The Chopin Nocturne. I remember. You looked at me like I was telling you secrets. You were. You still do, every time you play." He guided me to the piano bench sitting beside me. "Play it again. One more time. Just for us." I played, and he watched, and the circle completed. 7 years ago, I'd walked into this room to teach a 7-year-old piano. I'd left with a family, a love, and a life I never could have imagined. Sometimes the best things aren't planned. Sometimes they happen when you sit down to teach scales and end up learning about love. And sometimes, the man watching from the chair isn't just observing lessons. He's falling in love with the teacher, one note at a time. "I love you," Sandro whispered when I finished. "Today, tomorrow, always, I love you too. My husband, my family, my home. Best piano lesson I ever sat through. Best student's father I ever met. Student's father who fell completely in love with you." The feeling was mutual. Good, because I'm never missing a lesson. Even when Bella's at the conservatory, even when Lucas starts learning, even when the new baby needs teaching, I'll be right here, watching you, loving you, forever. Promise? Promise. And he kept it. For every lesson, every concert, every moment that mattered. Alessandro Romano, the man who'd sat in on piano lessons just to watch me, became the man who sat through a lifetime just to be with